Welcome to CIAC's Glory Days podcast. I'm your host, Jada Mirabelle, and today I am joined with the 2023 Class M Girls Soccer State Champions, Bacon Academy. I am joined with head coach Matt Rafala, who has been leading the Bacon Academy girls soccer team for 3 seasons now. Elizabeth Glover, who is all-conference goaltender, who missed all but just 3 games this past season while recovering from ACL surgery, but luckily she was cleared just in time to start playing again. Senior captain, all-conference center back Veronica Smith, who scored 2 penalty kicks in the championship game to help earn the first ever Bacon Academy girls soccer state title. And senior captain, 2-time all-state player Audrey Palmer, who led the team in goals these past 2 seasons. What a memorable season you all were able to accomplish this year, winning Bacon Academy's first ever girls soccer state championship title. It wasn't an easy road, and it most definitely was not an easy championship game. The game went to double overtime, where you ultimately won 2-1, 11-10 in penalty kicks against number 1 seeded Suffield High School. Looking back at this past season, what do you think worked best to help you earn the state championship title?
I think just playing together, playing for each other. I think that really is really what we all strive for. Just playing for each other, not so much thinking about, obviously thinking about the result. We want to win, but more playing for each other. Like the boys have a motto that's side before self, and I think that we make fun of it a lot, but it's a good one.
Play as a team? Yeah. That's what it comes down to. So, Coach, was there anything that you did differently this season compared to the prior 2022 season where the team fell just short in the CIAC semifinals? Was there any coaching strategy that helped you finally get to the first state championship appearance?
Yeah, I think after the year before we made the semifinals and lost to Mercy, who was arguably the best team in the state, eventual state champions. I think the biggest issues that we had were we just needed to go out and play our style. We tried too much to mold our style to fit what we thought Mercy was going to be. So as a coaching staff, we kind of came to the decision that if we were lucky enough to get the opportunity again, we were just going to go in and play our style. Throughout the season, we made sure we played 2-3 different formations. That way we could change it up and the girls would feel comfortable. But at the end of the day, we didn't want to change who we were because we felt that we were good enough to get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it definitely worked. So besides sticking to your own style, what other core values do you try to instill within the girls soccer program?
Yeah, Liz touched on it a little bit with the boys' motto, side before self, but it's really just that team, that family mentality. When the season ends, you get to expand the rosters. We had 27 girls in the program at the time, and I've opened it up to let anybody join thinking that they would come, they would go. My only requirement was that they be committed, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. They come to every practice, they come to every game. All 27 players came. And the JV players, the freshman players, they came not expecting to play. So based on what we were able to create over the season, they came. And at the end of the day, they were beyond instrumental, creating the atmosphere, helping us with penalty kicks, helping us with the prep, helping us with game plan. But to have all 27 players jump at the chance who've been 3 months in, that's a big deal.
Yeah, wow, that's a great change to make. Yeah, especially to have everyone involved. So let's talk about the championship game. First off, it was freezing cold. It was absolutely frigid. I can't even explain how cold it was unless right, you guys were amped up. Maybe you didn't feel it or you're just numb. But it was so cold you can't even compare it to anything. But you guys, you still played hard, you held the line, and you sent it into double overtime, where you ultimately won 11-10 in PKs, which I think it was, I believe it was around 15 rounds of penalty kicks, which is unheard of. That's a lot, right?
It was a lot.
Yes. So, Audrey, you sadly got hurt during the championship game and had to exit just 1 minute before the first overtime. But somehow you found the strength, you came back in, you scored a penalty kick on your one good and uninjured leg. So what was your mindset like in that moment? What was the motivation to help push you through?
It was just definitely, I didn't think I would be able to not take the kick. I didn't want to put that pressure onto any one of our many capable players because we've taken PKs throughout the whole entire season after practice. So I knew I was ready. I kind of knew what I don't know. It was just an adrenaline thing, an emotional time. I was I have to do this. I have to be the one to do it. Because it's kind of how we all have practiced. I was the first PK taker throughout the whole season, and I just didn't want to mess up the flow, and I knew I could do it, and it worked out.
It worked. And Liz, the state championship was just 9 months after your ACL surgery, which caused you to miss the majority of the season. And after a stellar goaltending performance in the championship game, you were able to score the winning PK for your team. And what a special moment that was to witness, knowing your story. You scored that winning PK and you almost looked around like stunned and not sure if that was the winning goal. I mean, I can imagine. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that moment and what was racing through your mind.
Well, when I look back at all those videos, I'm like, how was I still on my feet? How did I not fall to my knees? But I mean, in the moment, I wasn't really thinking like, this is it. Like, I have to make this or everything's going like crashing and burning. I was just thinking like, I want to score. I want this for the team. I want everybody to like be able to celebrate each other and realize that we are good enough. We did make it this far. And when I scored, I was like, my God, what? I was like, yeah, pretty much. And I mean, I was looking around. I felt like I couldn't see anything. And then Alyssa was right in front of my face. I was like, oh. But man, it's just like, it was a big adrenaline rush that whole game. Like you said, it was freezing cold. I could not tell you. No, I was like stress sweating the whole time. So, I mean, scoring that, it felt great. I mean, obviously, scoring feels great, especially as a goalie. I never do that. But scoring and then hearing the whole like crowd go insane, seeing all my like favorite people in the world running at me, it was the best.
And you said you guys practice PKs after every normal practice. Were you ever in the lineup, Elizabeth? Were you ever in the lineup?
Yeah, I'm 10th. That's where Matt says the stress is.
So we actually credit to the boys team on this one. So we used them for the 2 weeks. Their season ended, and they had about 15 players that stayed for the entire postseason with us in every training. They would go through phases of play if we wanted to press or build out the back, so they were opposition. At the end of every practice, we went through the penalty kicks. Just realistically, I knew who the first 5 were going to be, and probably 6 and 7, but had to figure out 8, 9 until I got to Liz at 10. So we did that to kind of test it. But the fun part, or fun for us at least, is you had 15, 20 boys, you had the cross country team, you had the random students, and we made them line up at midfield like a real game. And we made a tunnel of all of their peers and kids. Yes. And the only rule was you need to be as loud and obnoxious as you could and try to create as much stress as you could. So every practice, 2-3 times we went through it, and they had to walk through the tunnel of, at the end of the week, kids were coming just for the penalty. Just to come and yell at the players. And it made it an interesting environment, but replicating the walk, that's a long walk by yourself. And a lot of times you don't do that. So yeah, you just have to walk with the goal. But that was a big thing, and the boys team helped out a ton with that one.
Yeah, that's good practice for those high pressure moments.
Yeah, because Suffield student section showed up. They were loud.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, there was a lot of them. So talking about those high pressure moments, Veronica, you helped score 2 penalty kicks in the championship game. So besides that extra practice with the tunnel of players, was there anything else that you guys use? Any other type of strategy to deal with that double overtime and those penalty kicks and that high pressure?
I think it was mostly, like you said, like mentality. I actually did miss mine in the semifinals. So I think like the practice really helped. And then even after, it was like, okay, everyone's done taking a couple shots. Like Liz and I would stay after a little bit, and I would keep taking them because I was like I like want to do this one for myself, but like also for my team. So like I like can make sure I was ready for it. Yeah, so then like when I was jogging up, sort of, it was like, I've done this so many times. I know what like my spot is. Like I had like my whole team being like, you got this, like the whole like basically support behind me. Like it's like, even if you do miss, like we're still here for you, was like amazing. And then also it was like the whole student section. So I think it was really just like the whole like basically staying positive and just like concentrated. Like I knew where I was going to go, and it wasn't like overthinking it. It was sort of just like staying in that mindset of, this is where I'm going to go. Like this is like, I've done this so many times. It's just like at this point, it's like, let's just like do it.
Yeah, just revert back to the drills and the practice, and the support always helps. So as the current reigning Class M champions, if you had to share a piece of advice to fellow athletes and fellow coaches, what would you say?
Start with you on that
one. Okay. I would say trust your team and trust yourself and be confident. I think nobody in the entire state expected us to win except for us. Matt especially, and Krista Prates, she had us getting ready. She was like, nobody like is gonna expect this, so do it. Like we were the underdogs, but I don't think that ever really mattered for us. We just wanted to go out there and show everybody what we can do, and I think that was a really big part of our win, just being confident and being who we are.
I mean, you were picked to be the first round upset of the tournament, so.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to lose every single round.
Actually, that was printed, so you were.
I guess for the piece of advice, definitely kind of no matter like how much success we did have, definitely next year we need to stay humble, go into any easy game. It's just easy for us because we have many talented players on our team where we're used to just kind of cruising by sometimes. And I think we need to definitely go into next season not expecting any easy wins, no matter who we think. If we beat them, doesn't matter. Like, I think we just need to go in and just try to like take it game by game because we don't know if we'll get back there again. So just kind of take it game by game, just work hard for it.
Don't look too far ahead.
Yeah.
I think it's like every player matters, whether you're starting on the field or you're not starting on the field. I think it's like basically like everyone has a certain role, whether it's in the game itself or it's in the practice. So I think it's sort of like Audrey said, like stay humble in that mindset. Like even if you start a game, like that doesn't promise you'll start the next one. Like you have to keep working. So one, you improve yourself, but then also if you're doing your best, you can also improve others and make them do their best. So I think that's like one of the mindsets, like basically like making sure everyone's at their top.
Yeah, that's good. Great answer.
Yeah, and I mean, just to kind of go off of what they were saying, I think the biggest thing that we've always talked about is that next game. You look at the conference we're in, it's one of the most underrated conferences where top to bottom, it's loaded. And the teams that are supposed to be the easy teams are tight games, and there are no blowouts if you look at our record. We kind of make it a 6.5 wins, you get to states. It's not let's go 15-16-0 or let's win this title or that division. It's 6.5 wins is the target, and then get healthy at the right time and peak in the right time, because it doesn't really matter what you do in September. It's all about the end of the season.
It's very true. So do any of you have a pre-game routine? What helps you get focused into that winning mindset?
I wouldn't call it a routine, but we have like our like little things that we do before each game. Like I always braid Veronica's hair, which if you ever come to the JV basketball games, you'll see me braiding the entire varsity team's hair every game. But yeah, especially for soccer, we're all just focused on each other in the pregame. We're always getting each other hyped up and ready. It's not, I would never say a routine. We never do the same thing twice, but we each have our little order and the lines and the passing lines and all that. Yeah.
So not too superstitious, but just a little bit.
Well, tiny bit.
Outside the room might be.
I'm a little more superstitious. For me, definitely on away games, I have more of a routine. On the longer bus rides, I do take a nap before. Even if I have slept a full like 11 hours the night before, I will sleep on the bus. I will do my hair on the bus after the nap, and then I have usually an energy drink. AirPods in. And then that's kind of how I do it, even if it's a home game, maybe minus the nap because they're usually after school, but
minus the nap.
Yeah, it's like we always go outside to our little like picnic bench areas, and that's kind of where we all talk. We put our cleats on, and that's kind of like my routine getting ready for the game. We all talk, or even if we don't talk, it's music, and it's just kind of like game mode. So those are kind of my routines for both home and away.
Yeah. I mean, mine is like always like when it's away games, we all have like certain spots on the bus that we sit every single time. So I just think like that's sort of my superstition is like everyone has to say where they're seated.
Yeah.
And then sort of like Audrey said, like everyone has their spot in the line. And then I also like during warm-ups before the game starts, like I do, because I'm like a defender, so I do long balls with the other defenders while like the attackers shoot. So like I always stay on a certain side of the field, like basically like next to the bench, and then like I'm doing long balls with my partner, and then it's like you do a couple, and then once I get like a couple good ones in, I might take a break just so like I'm not overworking my foot. But then like basically when Matt says like, okay, everyone bring it in, like my partner each have to do like a good one, and then like we have to keep going until we get that good one, and then we can bring it in. Yeah.
They're always really interesting to see how athletes differ with their routines, because some are so superstitious. As individual athletes, what does training look like for you in the off season? Do you have certain teams you play on, or what does it look like?
We are actually talking about this in the car ride here. We don't have an off season.
Off season, like, because they do basketball, but even then, it's still we have an indoor season for Oakwood, so it's like
so we're like basketball, then go to soccer.
It's like we don't really have even the summer. It's not that. It's just we have our summer league, so it's
exactly
on our own. We
year
do our
round,
own
basically.
Stuff. It's always soccer.
Yeah, it helps too with conditioning now.
So I mean, not many of us have an off season, which
or other sports they do. So
we're
all we're an athletic team.
Active. I think it's also like helps when you do a different sport, or like you're like doing other things other than just like
you do
soccer,
get the break.
Like yeah, exactly. But it's also like you don't like think about soccer 24/7, like to the point where like you can still like love the sport at the same time because you're like not always thinking about it.
Yeah.
So how do you think this new CIAC rule allowing teams to now practice 2 days a week for 2 hours per session will help benefit your team and other teams heading into the upcoming season?
Matt? Haven't heard you talk in a while.
So for anyone that's taking over a program, it's huge. It's massive. You can instill your foundations, your culture, how you want to play, how you see your team. It's a great opportunity for any coach doing that. For a coach that's coming into a program like we have, where we have a lot of returning players, it's a great time for us to try new things, right? So we can train together, we can work on little things that we don't have time to do later on, and it gets a lot of stuff out of the way. We can play with formations. Maybe we want to change that. Maybe we want to change the way we play a little bit here and there. So it was definitely a shock that got passed and that did happen. But as a coach, I was excited about that.
It's a good time for the team to practice and mesh together and try new things.
Yeah, and especially the incoming freshmen. It's nice, family bonding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get to know them a little bit, see their strengths.
Plus, they go into high school and they know 25 friends.
Yeah.
So it's a good social thing for a lot of the incoming
So those freshmen see us in the hallway, they're like,
now they know you, yes. Right? So who do you think will be your toughest matchup this season?
I think for us, no matter any in-season or out-season game, we play in a very, like Matt said, very strong conference. So I don't really think there will, for any games looking forward to us, I kind of think we have a chance at any of, I don't know. It's just a tough season ahead of us. So I think we can look forward to any of them because they're going to be good games no matter what.
Exactly. There's no one game that's on our calendar that we have circled and we're not. Yeah, we're gonna take it game by game.
Yeah, game by game, basically. It's not being, like she said, not having a circle team, but basically everyone is a challenge. Everyone is having that mindset. No one is an easy team we can beat.
We're looking forward to all of them.
Yeah.
You have to figure. Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna get the best from a lot of these teams. There's no sneaking up on teams anymore, right? Teams know who you are. Teams know who your players are. Teams have heard of Bacon Academy now. Even maybe, so that there's no sneaking up. And not that you would ever sneak up on anyone in the ECC, but when you do play the non-conference games, sometimes you get overlooked. There won't be anyone overlooking you this year, so you'll get the best from every team, which will be exciting to see.
What games are you most looking forward to this season and why?
We do have rivalry games that have deep-rooted rivalries. A lot of these, the ECC is so tight together location-wise that these kids play each other in travel, they play each other in rec, they play each other in premier, and on top of it, they play with each other, not just against each other. So there's a lot of friendships there. There's environments that are extraordinarily fun to go play in because of the atmosphere. So the obvious ones that we come out to mind is, anytime you get to play Waterford away, it's a fun game. It's exciting for both teams. Yeah. It's a rivalry game. It's a stressful game. It's a heated game for fans. It's a fun time. Mm-hmm. Playing Stonington under the lights is one of the hardest places to play. Just the massive stadium. It's sunken in down low.
Yeah, East Lyme the same
and
way.
They really do protect taking the picture with the bear at the end. So it's very hard to get that result there. And then East Lyme's a team that we haven't beat in a very long time. They play a completely different style. They play on a field that's massive, and those are three very different ones.
Well, yeah, be a good matchups. To look forward to. And captains, how will you lead the team this season? What will you be implementing from last season to this season? Will you be changing anything or trying to improve upon anything?
I'll start. I don't think we're going to try to necessarily change anything for our upcoming season. We've had very successful seasons prior to the next one, and I think we've had great captains that have helped us become the leaders of our team now, and I think we're going to definitely take some of their qualities and we always want to be the role models. So no, we won't be barking orders at our players, but one of us leads by example, and if someone else sees that, then it helps us kind of just lead the team by example, and that's kind of what we're going to try to do, I bet.
I think it's also really helpful that we all play different positions. So it's leading different parts of the team. So defense and then goalie, you can see everything basically, and you have offense, of course. I think it's really helpful that we can basically give instructions and lead different parts of the team and what we know to ourselves. So it's not I'm telling the offense go do this when I can tell the defense and I know I can trust Audrey to tell the offense what I might be thinking.
We can talk to it, and it also helps that we all do play different positions, like you said. So when it's just us three and we notice something, we can all share a different perspective. Liz sees something I don't see. My back is turned half the time. It's Veronica sees what I'm we need our forwards to move more, and she tells me that, and I can relay the message, and it's just a good kind of chemistry between us that will help.
Yeah, especially we've been playing together for 14 years.
Oh, forever. It feels so long.
A long time.
Second grade.
So yeah, like we're usually all on the same page. Like Audrey said, we all have great chemistry. So we're always like none of us are scared of talking to each other, like making like correcting something or being together. I think we all just want to like play for each other and do the best for each other, and that's how we're gonna lead this team.
It makes it so much easier that you have that bond to help lead the team.
Yes.
And if you had to choose one team motto heading into this next season, what would it be? I know you mentioned the boys soccer team has one, but what would yours be?
We were talking about this in the car. We have no idea.
We don't have one yet that I'm
No.
aware of. We as coaches, we've thrown a few around that nothing's really stuck and felt right. I mean, I think it kind of comes out organically. I think within the season, once it gets going, this is a new position for everyone. Defending is something never happened in soccer in Bacon Academy. So it's just, you're going to see the best from everybody, and we're looking forward to that. So if anything, just one game at a time. You can't look to the end of November. It's got to be the game in front of you, and there's no guarantees you get anywhere. You got to earn it.
Yeah, last season for sure, our motto was like, we're the underdogs. Like,
why not us?
Yeah, why not us? But we can't exactly say that this year.
We'll see what you guys come up with throughout the season. But now we're going to head into some rapid questions. So these are a surprise. You don't know of these yet. They're going to come at you fast, so you got to be ready, okay? Ready? Yeah. Liz, favorite professional soccer player?
Oh, Hope Solo. She doesn't play anymore.
Veronica, favorite pregame hype song?
Probably like
the Shakira song.
Yeah, Shakira song. Like
before he cheats.
Oh, before he
that's
cheats.
our bus song.
That is
Every
the bus
single
song.
bus ride.
Every
That is
bus
what we
ride.
play.
I answered your question. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Okay, Audrey, favorite move to use 1v1 against a defender?
Ooh, I like a good elastico, like outfoot, go in and out with my right foot type of thing.
Coach, favorite field to play at?
Oh, the bacon pit.
The mud pit.
The mud pit.
All right, Liz, grass or turf?
Turf.
Veronica, favorite sports memory?
I mean, if it wasn't winning the state, probably that one.
That's a good one. Can't really beat that. Audrey, favorite jersey number?
10.
Coach, games in the rain or games in the freezing cold?
Oh, they're both miserable. As a former goalie, I'll go freezing cold because rain's the worst.
Audrey, assists or goals?
Ooh, I like goals.
Fair.
Liz, best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, I'd say like from Krista, from Matt, from my dad, like you can do it, so why not?
Mm-hmm. Veronica, favorite pregame or postgame meal?
I mean, it's either pasta before the game or like after the game, like I don't know, like going out for pizza or something
All right, Coach, favorite soccer team?
AC Milan all day.
Okay, we're gonna end these rapid questions with a very tough one, so answer carefully. All right, Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo, not even a question.
I think
Messi.
Not even a question.
Messi. Yeah, that's always
It's a highly debated one.
I know.
Very highly debated.
I'll stand by it.
Lastly, on the Glory Days podcast, we always like to wrap up by asking our guests, what do you think the purpose of high school sports is? So, Coach, I'll start with you.
That's a great question. High school sports provides an amazing social outlet for players to be able to kind of relieve stresses throughout the day. High school is tough. High school is a lot of things that you just forget about how tough it is. And it lets you kind of just take a break from it, take a break from the pressures of homework, take a break from the pressures of anything else you're dealing with, and just go be a kid and have some fun and enjoyment.
Great outlet.
Huge.
High school sports, I think, has always created like such a great like family for me, such a great community. I mean, my family's the best, but it's like a home away from home for me. The whole soccer team, like I love them all. We've like the seniors, we've all played together for like 14 years, like forever. And every new like class that comes in, we always just like take them under our wing. We want to get to know them. We want to be friends with them before we're teammates with them, because I think it's really important to have that team chemistry. And I think that's like one of my favorite things about playing sports in high school is just having all these girls that I know have my back.
It's sort of like your like chosen family. So like in the school, like you can always have a person to go to talk to, like if you're like going through something. And then I think it's also really helpful for like for your future, sort of. Like she said, we've been playing forever. So like I know like Liz and Audrey and I will be friends for like almost forever, basically. So I think it's really like important just to like have like those close friends that basically become your family within the school, and then like for your like futures, like friends you've had forever.
So, Audrey, what do you think the purpose of high school sports is?
I don't know. As someone who does do club sports year round, I think it just gives anyone who else does that a great kind of break from the pressure, because club sports is known it's just a very intense. You're there to do excellent. Like it's just a very high pressure environment, which we all love and thrive on. So we're used to that. We love it, but also sometimes you get too caught up in it, and you do need the break of just you have your best friends from your town, you have everyone you're with. Like it's just a whole different kind of new environment. Like you get to meet the freshmen. It's like your high school. It's just, I think it just gives a great outlet to anyone who's just trying to have some fun.
Absolutely. It's a great community. Thank you so much to Coach Rafala, Audrey Palmer, Elizabeth Glover, and Veronica Smith for joining me on CIAC's Glory Days podcast. I wish you all the best of luck in this upcoming season, and I hope you're able to come out with another Class M state championship title.